Dangerous Dictionary back again, and the second Godzilla x Kong trailer finally dropped. The trailer was straight up epic and exceeded my expectations by a mile. There is so much stuff in the trailer to go over and discuss, but if you love the Monsterverse, do the channel a favor and stomp the like and subscribe button. Liking the video helps the channel grow so I can keep bringing you guys content. Anyways, sit back and relax as I break down the second Godzilla x Kong trailer. By the way, before we start, I want to mention Shimo's gender. She has been confirmed to be female through several movie leaks, but to play things safe, I'm going to say he or she, just in case they decide to switch Shimo's gender from female. But as of right now, Shimo is confirmed to be a female. Anyways, back to the video. The trailer starts off with a rumbling caused by Kong emerging from underground in Egypt. Then we see our boy Godzilla swimming in water with his normal blue glow. Right after seeing that, it shows Godzilla swimming in his new evolved form. While swimming, his dorsal plates tear through a damaged bridge, and then the screen pans to his pink eyes. While we are seeing all of this, we hear Eileen Andrews say, "For centuries there was harmony. The Titans were the guardians of nature." This statement can be backed up by the fact that some Titans are known to help ecosystems out, like Scylla, stopping glaciers from melting, and Behemoth reviving the Amazon rainforest. After seeing this, we get a quick shot of Kong jumping onto the ground, and then him and Gia connecting with each other. While seeing this, Eileen Andrews says, "And the great apes became the protectors of humanity." This statement hints that Kong and Scar King species may have not been considered Titans, since they are referred to as great apes instead of Titans. Eileen Andrews' statement also proves to us that the Kong and Scar King species were responsible for protecting humanity, which was theorized in the past by fans. The next shot shows Gia just sitting in a room as she starts to see snowflakes, possibly meaning she senses the presence of Shimo. This may be revealing that she has the ability to sense Titans similar to how Godzilla and Mothra are able to. After seeing this, we see a device that acts as a clock, but out of nowhere the numbers combine into the shape of a pyramid, and we see several images in a second. None of these images were that important, except for 3 of them. One of these images showed Godzilla releasing a nuclear pulse from his body, but the other images were way more interesting. The other image showed a large electrical pulse from the battle between Scar King and Kong. Also in the image, if we zoom in, we can see a full body shot of Shimo fighting Godzilla. While it isn't the best look in the world, it still gives us a better look as to what Shimo looks like. The final image is of Mothra, the queen of the monsters herself. We don't fully see Mothra, but we see her head and part of her body in Gia's eye. After seeing all the images, we see Gia jolts up from her bed and tells Eileen Andrews, "I'm scared something is wrong with me," further proving that Gia may be naturally connected to the Titans in some way. After getting a few shots from the first trailer, it shows Kong turning around as he looks up at something way bigger than himself. The thing behind Kong is most likely Shimo, as we know Shimo is way bigger than both Godzilla and Kong. Shimo on all fours is the same height as Godzilla, and it was stated Shimo on his or her back legs was over 600 feet. Anyways, next we see Godzilla, who is glowing blue and is even letting off radiation from his body. This signifies that Godzilla hasn't used any energy or radiation for a long time, allowing radiation to build up in his body. While showing us Godzilla enter the water, Eileen Andrews states that Godzilla and Kong are afraid of the threat coming. This is actually surprising because throughout the Monsterverse, Godzilla has almost never shown fear even when faced with death. The only time Godzilla has shown fear is when he was almost killed by Mechagodzilla. The threat scaring Godzilla is most likely Shimo, due to the fact Godzilla was alive to witness the Ice Age, which was caused by Shimo. Though, of course, the threat could be Scar King and his army as well. We know Godzilla can beat a Kong in battle, but we also are aware that he can't beat a whole army of them. Anyways, Eileen Andrews invites Steven Randa to come with her to the Hollow Earth. We learn that the rectangular pillars are used to activate the vile vortex, so they can travel through it. After seeing this, the screen switches to Bernie Hayes in the upgraded Hollow Earth aerial vehicle with the rest of the crew. Then we get a shot of Kong jumping into the vile vortex with the vehicle. Not going to lie, Kong had some balls in this scene since the last time he jumped into a vile vortex, blindly. It didn't exactly go well for him. But since this vile vortex seems to be studied and tampered with by scientists and engineers, the crew and Kong are most likely aware of where it will take them. We get a few shots from the first trailer, but we then get a shot of Stephen Randa touching something which triggers a bioluminescent reaction. The thing Stephen Randa touched was most likely Mothra's egg or cocoon. This is because we know Mothra's egg and cocoon is bioluminescent, and when Stephen Randa pushes on it, it had the same soft texture as Mothra's egg in King of the Monsters. Eileen Andrews was surprised by what Stephen Randa did, but this is nothing compared to what happens later in the trailer. Next, we see Kong pick up his axe, and Stephen Randa say that Scar King's handprints are a call for war. This dialogue makes sense because most fans have determined that Scar King plans to wage war with the surface. The next shot, we see Zuko, who seems to have led Kong to Scar King's lair. Once Kong was in Scar King's lair, the other Kongs began beating the ground, most likely signifying Scar King is coming. Once Scar King was approaching, Zuko was absolutely terrified, which could mean two different things. It could mean that Scar King and Zuko don't have a good history and could explain why Kong ran into Zuko while roaming the Hollow Earth. Another reason why Zuko was scared is because Scar King ruled his kingdom with a heavy hand. This is most likely the case since the other Kongs in this trailer are seen bowing to Scar King. Most Kongs are scared of Scar King because of a consequence they will face if they don't follow him. The consequence is being killed by Shimo, who we know is under Scar King's control. This can be backed up because Shimo's cave in the previous trailer had the skulls of several Kongs that we can assume were killed by Shimo. Anyways, Scar King jumps down and roars at Kong, and Kong roars back. Then they charge at each other, and Kong tries to slam his axe into Scar King, but Scar King blocks the attack with his skeleton whip. Kong uses Scar King's block to slam Scar King onto his knee. But the screen switches to Scar King shooting his whip out at Kong. The end of the whip wraps around Kong's arm, and then Scar King pulls the whip back, which slices Kong's arm. Scar King's skeleton whip is noticeably different since it now has a crystal spike at the end instead of a skull. It's possible that Scar King can switch out the end of his whip with different parts, but we can't be sure right now. What is certain is that the crystal spike belongs to Shimo. The screen then cuts to magma falling, and then it switches to Kong's face. Kong looks absolutely terrified, and we all know why. If you look at Kong's face, you'll notice that he lost his tooth, but eventually he gets it replaced with a metal one. The screen switches to Shimo's eyes, and the exact second Kong grabs his axe, we hear a sharp sound, and then we see Shimo's frost breath. The sharp sound we hear is most likely the sound Shimo makes before his frost blast is fired. Kong is able to block the blast with his axe, which probably saves his life, but the breath is so powerful it pushes Kong back. We don't see Kong's axe once he gets the beast glove, so I theorize that Shimo may have destroyed it. After Shimo shot his or her frost breath, it most likely froze Kong's axe, which caused the axe to shatter once it made impact with something hard. Next, we see Godzilla and Kong running, and then we get another amazing shot. The trailer then switches to Rio de Janeiro, where Shimo is shooting a frost beam into the sky, while Scar King observes from the beach. We see Shimo also froze some water, so he or she had something to stand on. Shimo may use the clouds to allow the frost breath to cause more damage to the area. This may be how Shimo started the Ice Age thousands of years ago. Then the trailer shows Kong fully emerging from the ground and shows Godzilla shooting his new pink atomic breath at Kong through a pyramid. We don't know why Kong and Godzilla fight, but it most likely has to do with the giant hole that was created in Egypt. We hear Bernie Hayes then say, "The last time those two met up, it was almost the end of Kong." After that, we hear Stephen Randa say, They don't have to like each other, they just have to work together. Though Egypt seems like the spot, Kong and Godzilla are going to decide to work together since later in the trailer, Godzilla and Kong are seen in Egypt roaring together. The screen switches to Scar King roaring on a beach, and then to him holding Zuko by the shoulder or neck. I'm assuming that angered Kong because Bro punched Scar King so hard that he knocked Scar King's tooth out. When Kong reeled back his punch, you can see Shimo's head for a quick second, casually accepting the fact Scar King is about to get put in the dirt. Next, we see Godzilla being attacked by several planes, but Godzilla makes quick work of them with his nuclear pulse. While Godzilla was charging up his nuclear pulse, you could see what looked to be electricity striking his body. The electricity seemed to have powered up the pulse, since we see traces of electricity on the ground from the nuclear pulse. So far, we don't know why Godzilla is fighting humanity again, but whatever the reason is, Godzilla seems to be seriously provoked. We also see Godzilla earlier in the trailer destroying bridges that had humans on them. You could argue that it wasn't intentional, but Godzilla could have easily avoided the bridge if he wanted to. After witnessing Godzilla massacre several jets, it switches to the Hollow Earth Iwi tribe bowing to something, and Gia standing in front of something, falling. Then we see Zuko throw a rock at a Kong that was already bloodied up. Scar King may have ordered the other Kongs to attack Kong, but Zuko may have aided Kong in his escape. Next, we see the Beast Glove activating and attaching onto Kong's arm, and the glove clearly has electrical powers. After seeing that epic scene of the Beast Glove, we see Scar King wrap his skeleton whip around the top of a building. He then uses the whip to tear off the top of the building and throw it at Kong with full strength. Kong wasted no time and punched right through the building, possibly breaking the skeleton whip. Right after that, the trailer ends with Godzilla and Kong in Egypt roaring, which makes me believe this is where they become allies. I didn't expect this trailer to have so much action, and I didn't expect to see Shimo either. This trailer didn't disappoint, and I can't wait to see what this movie has to offer. Comment down below what Titan you're most excited to see in Godzilla x Kong. Personally, I'm most hyped for Shimo since we still haven't seen much of him or her. If you enjoyed the video, stomp the subscribe button and scratch the like button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next dangerous video.